79.
79.
79. 21 more to go. There's this one. 21 more. Plus this one. Podcast episode 79. April 9th, 5:07 p.m.
On a Tuesday.
On Tuesday. On a Tuesday. I'm tired. I don't know if I'm... Analytics.
Oh, I saw it was analytics.
Amazon. Let's talk about Amazon. If you guys like these podcasts, you want to support us, just do business with us. But if you can't do business with us, you have no need for our shit. Amazon. If you go to our website, soetacticalgear.com, scroll down to the bottom. There's a link for Amazon. Click that Amazon link. It'll take you to Amazon. Anything you buy, we get a little piece of.
Doesn't cost you anything.
Doesn't cost you anything. We don't know that you bought, a rubber fist. We don't know any of that shit. So that's just a way to support us if you like what we're doing. Makita is definitely still in business. I love checking out new tools, but I bought my Makita kit 10 years ago, and it hasn't quit on me yet. So I have no reason to buy new ones. They're 18-volt lithium ion, and they just plain work. I'm using SOE grocery bags as saddlebag liners. Perfect. Yeah, they would work great for that. Got any interesting stories involving motorcycle clubs?
Any interesting stories?
He means gangs.
Oh, gangs. I don't know. I don't have any interesting stories. The only story I have is, if you remember, it hasn't been recently. It's been 2 years since it happened, but the big shootout in Texas when the... can't think of the two. When the Hells Angels and the can't think of the gang or the motorcycle club that's popular out here. Anyways, when they had the big shootout and 9 people were killed, nobody's going to jail.
Why?
Because
all the witnesses are dead.
No, I think there's a couple of guys. I don't know the whole down and dirty of it, but.
Where'd you
guys were permanent. It's on the news. They're putting it out on the news. They're not. Texas isn't charging any of them with a crime, and I think the issue is that the guys that did that. This is what I think. That there were some police officers that were in motorcycle gang uniforms. And you can't really convict them, and then all the people that had guns were permitted to have guns. So, if you're permitted to have a gun, and I shoot you because you're attempting to shoot me, that's self-defense. And it doesn't matter that I'm wearing fucking, I'm wearing a fucking Hell's Angel patch or a fucking...
So, were the cops...
There was
members of the club?
Fucking tons of... this is what I think, and I may be blowing smoke up your guys' asses, but I think that because it was a big meeting of 2 clubs that they were doing, and there was 300 some odd people there. My guess is there was cops wearing colors that got involved in the fray.
Cops wearing colors they're part of the...
Because they're undercover in those clubs.
Gotcha. So they're not actual members.
Yeah, not actual members.
I would add, don't borrow money from a motorcycle club, especially if you know you can't pay it back, because they're probably going to fuck you up. I would add that.
Yeah, I wouldn't borrow, not like a lot of money either.
Especially if you shouldn't be borrowing money anywhere that fucking somebody's going to harm. Like, if you can't, we'll just leave that.
Yeah, if you can't afford to pay, don't.
We heard some things about a guy we know.
Yeah.
John. Have y'all heard from Jay Jones lately? Haven't seen him on any of the videos lately, and think he would be an awesome guest on the podcast. So Jay, I actually reached out to Jay a couple weeks ago. I'm like, what the fuck are you alive? He has his grandkids right now, or his granddaughter is living with them. So he's just busy with that. He's got some kid things he's getting squared away. What are your thoughts about robots replacing human workers? Walmart just announced that by next February it expects to have almost 2,000 autonomous floor scrubbers in its store, as well as bots that can scan self-inventory and scan and sort boxes. So Walmart's already had inventory scanners that everything's RFID tagged, and I'm amazed that they don't have self-cleaning like floor scrubbers yet. I mean, fuck, I've got 3 Roombas at the house. I've got 3 Roombas that fucking run a pattern and clean everything and sweep and shit. And now they've even got a couple mop ones that are getting better. As soon as they have one that's a little more industrial, I'll use it for all my gym mats and shit out in the garage. That doesn't surprise me at all. I think you're gonna see that shit. It's coming. Everybody's pretending it's not. Like we know a dude that drives a truck, and we're like, hey, it's coming. He's like, oh no, that's not gonna happen. That's 10 years away. No, motherfucker, it's gonna happen. Just because you close your eyes and pretend it's not, you motherfuckers better have a backup plan. I know a bunch of truck drivers are gonna be like, oh no, I'm not worried. I'm telling you, have a plan. You don't even have to put the plan in motion. But have it in your fucking head. It's coming. It's coming. It's already fucking happening. Fucking FedEx is already delivering. Amazon's already delivering autonomous vehicles. Right now, shit is being delivered to people's houses where you don't have to fucking deal with a person. It's coming. And it's gonna fucking... It's happening in a bunch of places in a smaller scale. As soon as they fucking upscale that shit, a bunch of you motherfuckers are going to be out of a job. So whatever your fucking side hustle or your plan, whatever it is, at least fucking think about it in your head right now because it's coming.
I think that this is like computers in the year 2000. That we were reading way too much into this, and we're shouting all this doom and gloom about this autonomous is. While autonomy is coming, and it's going to happen, I think it's going to be like the automobile in the sense of, you know, for a long time, people were still riding horse and buggies into town, even though that there was cars creeping in there going, beep, beep, get the fuck out of my way. I think it's going to, like they're doing right now, you know, it's small scale. For the most part, there's no large scale autonomous stuff going. Even Tesla... You know, when you think of Elon Musk, he is at the tip of that spear as far as doing things autonomous, and all their cars, so all the Tesla cars that are on the freeway right now, can drive themselves. Like they already have the stuff in them. All Tesla has to do is go, let it happen, and even they have fucking reined back their program a little bit because of a couple of accidents that happened. You know, that's what it'll be. It's while we think, you know, it's always nice when you're an inventor and you invent something and you go, this thing, like this right here. This right here. We invent this and we go, I don't even know why people would carry this around. You know, we give Apple a lot of credit, but they really didn't want to make this. It was 4 guys in a fucking basement and they're like, hey, we can make this happen. The boss didn't want this. He's like, I don't think people want to carry that shit around with them all the time. We don't really know what happens with the technology until that technology hits the streets. It's just like Walmart. Walmart's got more stores around the country than probably any other business. They're going to buy a bunch of fucking floor scrubbers and a bunch of autonomous things that are going to go into those stores. And they're going to fire the broom pusher. They're going to fire the guy that's driving the Zambonis now. And then they're going to have problems. They're going to have problems because those things are going to start to do things that weren't part of the program. And then they're going to rehire the Zamboni guy. Yeah, he might not be riding the Zamboni anymore. He's probably just going to be sitting in there going, oh man, I got to push that motherfucker back into the aisle. Push it back in the aisle and it's going to fucking go back on its track and boom, it's going to fucking do that thing. It's the same thing with, you know, they keep talking about long haul truckers, and even the most optimistic guys out there, when they talk about long haul truckers losing their job, they're still saying there's going to be a person in that truck. That truck is not going to fucking go from New York City to California without a person. So the person's still going to be in there. Now, is that now instead of I don't know what you truckers are getting paid, instead of a $25 an hour job, is that now a minimum wage job? Because you're sitting in there fucking watching TV or playing video games. That'd be awesome. Think about it. If you like playing video games, be a long haul trucker and just play video games all day, they're still going to have people in there. And even the most optimistic guys are like, those trucks are going to end up coming to like someplace outside of Las Vegas into a hub, and then a real driver is going to get in it and drive it to Luxor or wherever because of regular streets. So I think this revolution that everybody sees coming, it's going to end everything. I think it's going to be a little more transitional than we think. That it's not going to be quite as end of the world as everybody thinks it's going to be. Because even right now, when you look at things that people are interested in things that are still made by hand. Old world craftsmanship. People that are fucking building tables. Doing the old stuff. And I think that when we talk about
that's the boutique, though.
Yeah, when we talk about
the boutique, that's for somebody with more money. On the other flip side of that,
but
while yes they are, the flip side of that is, ain't nobody buying that bullshit at Walmart, and Walmart's fucking making billions of dollars a day.
Yeah, but Walmart is making billions of dollars a day. Are they making it off of you? No, they're making it off of. The reality is, they're making it off of minimum wage employees. So people that have minimum wage jobs are out there going to Walmart and buying cheap products because they have minimum wage jobs. The corporations themselves are going to have to realize that Walmart, if you get rid of all the minimum wage jobs, Walmart doesn't exist. They just don't exist. And for example, McDonald's, same thing with McDonald's. If McDonald's gets rid of all their minimum wage jobs, who's buying their cheeseburgers? It's not going to be, you're not buying. How many cheeseburgers do you buy a month? None,
Yeah.
I think there's going to be an industry kind of come to Jesus. It's either going to be, we're going to automate everything and we don't care about the minimum wage. We don't care about those people that can't function at a higher level, or we're going to automate everything and then we're just going to write those people a check because somebody has to buy that stuff. Somebody has to go to Burger King. Somebody has to go to Walmart. And it's not, fucking Jeff Bezos is not going to fucking Burger King and Walmart. So even his model of business, if it's, there's the problem that we're running into is the rich that rich class is getting bigger. The middle class is getting smaller. And the poor class is getting bigger, and there's going to be a point where that gap is not going to be big enough to keep this class of people jumping over the fence and trying to eat this class of people. So
have a plan.
I'm not saying don't have a plan, because you know what?
Fucking have it in your head. You don't have to not sleep over it at night yet, but have a fucking plan.
I'm not saying
everybody listening to this should go, okay, if I can't do what I do today, what would I be doing? Like, have that in your fucking head.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't have a plan, because, the reality is there was one guy in the last buggy whip factory making that last buggy whip, and eventually he was done. So you do definitely need a plan. The future is going to be, within the next 10 years. After that, we're all dead anyways.
Daniel Marshall says, my pleasure, gentlemen. He's saying thank you. You're welcome.
You're very welcome, Daniel.
You're welcome.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Why? Because of the
For
cake?
all the cakes and cookies.
Come on, there is no... Daniel, this is not a cake.
Look up AVE on YouTube. He does tool reviews, and Ridget wins it. Good thing I've always used them for power tools. Right on, John. I think he means rigid. Special guest Bane. Ken Schmidt says, John, in Texas, we have a lot of toll roads, no pay booths. They take a picture and send you a bill if you don't have a toll pass. You save some with the tag, but like me, I avoid cities, so I pay when I get the crap in the mail. I avoid cities, so I pay when I get the crap in the mail. You didn't do anything wrong. That's how they charge you. Right on.
That's what I figured, because it was only $4. Usually there's a penalty.
Skully, do you have any experience with 7.5 by 55 Swiss Army rifles? K31, 55, or 57? What do you think of the cartridge?
I have no experience with it or the cartridge itself. It's too much of a boutique. It's too much of a antique boutique item for me to dabble in. So I mean, if they're not making making a Remington 700 in that cartridge, I can't really talk about it because I'm not going to buy one of those antique rifles just to shoot that cartridge. So it's out of my realm, really. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. It's just out of my realm.
RE toilet paper and how much you have stored. Met a German guy who worked for a toilet paper company. I asked him what the difference was between his hand and toilet paper. He didn't say anything, so I told him I would never shake his hand. RE moon landing. Fully convinced the moon landing happened, but interesting to see the YouTube clips which pose very specific questions, which for one reason or another I don't or rarely see the answer to, but could be just me and needing to dig deeper. 503, is that the club where you could only get in if you were a member? Speakeasy in Nashville. Think you had a video on it like 2 years or more. That is not
Club 503.
That is not Club 503 or 503. Any decent telescope can spot satellites, day or nighttime. We have a big group on our pier each weekend that brings large scopes out and shares images like everyone, and shares images with everyone. Incredible detail and definitely looks like what a satellite is depicted as.
There's actually a website that the CIA is trying to get. I don't know if they're trying to get shut down or whatever, but the classified satellites, the satellites that you're not supposed to be up there, the satellites that were inside the Discovery or the Challenger, or that went up and they secretly were like, poop satellite. They give the coordinates. They give them the coordinates for those satellites, so you can actually see the spy satellites flying over at their given time. Which the CIA really doesn't want you to know because they don't want you to know when they're taking a picture of you from space.
John just wanted to thank you for sending the OD day pack. Also wanted to thank you for throwing in OD Compact Tear Off. I really appreciate that. Also followed you and Skully's advice about doing research on security cameras. There's a lot out there. I did check out some comparison videos, and it appears that 1080p is shit when you go to zoom in and make out facial features. I ended up going 4K Ultra with color night vision. Only drawback is the 4K requires a wired connection and the 1080p can be wireless. The 4K stuff is pretty affordable these days, it seems, probably because they are getting ready to release the next new thing, like maybe 10K, I don't know. Anyways, thanks for the info and sweet tear off med pouch. Yeah, so you can run 1080 cameras and then have a couple of 4K cameras on, I think, depending on the system. Our dude fucking was talking about a camera from the building that can zoom in, and we can actually zoom it into the street and read license plates from the building at the gate, which is a ways if you've been here to the property. And then the other camera is not being zoomed like that. There's a lot of options out there. Sounds like you got that, and you did some research and ended up going with a better system.
You want to go hardwired anyways, because with a very small, you want to go hardwired because with a very small electrical device that I can place in your fucking front yard, I can shut all your cameras down if they're wireless. So yep. Hardwire is much better.
We have wired cameras. Milwaukee Fuel series of cordless power tools are pretty damn good too. A lot of guys are starting to trade out their DeWalt's for them. Porter and Cable was good about 20 years ago. Below's ass now though. The belt fed screw guns are called super drives. I have 2 of them for my DeWalt 110 screw guns. Right on.
People love their cordless tools, man.
Roy and Brittany. I'm not trolling you guys, Skully. I'm not trying to change your mind about the moon or space. I'm just making conversation.
That's perfectly fine. I don't care.
You can tell it's warm in here because you can smell fucking coffee. And it's also warm.
You can troll all you want. We want the comments. It gets the conversation going. You guys, if you paid attention to that moon landing conversation, it went on for like 30 pages.
A couple podcasts ago, a guy from Huntington, West Virginia, mentioned that a guy from Akron, Ohio, brought samples of drugs to West Virginia. I'm from Akron, Ohio, and it's a fucking shithole. Nothing good ever comes out of there. Nothing but crackheads, meth heads, fentanyl, and cunts. The entire city is made up of nothing but run-down piece of shit Section 8 housing and everyone in it. No one works, always fucking smells, gunshots, police chase, and other bullshit. No one has any motivation to do shit about it. My parents and younger brother live in Arlington homes in Akron, and from birth until me and my brothers found jobs, we have been on welfare. My parents refused to work and still are on welfare, even though I love them dearly. I have always been there they have always been there when I needed them, but the money to sustain us always came from other taxpayers, and I always resented that and felt like I owed a debt to society that helped raise me. I got out of the environment half decent as soon as I got my first full-time job at 17 and haven't stopped working since. Some of my family live in the outer parts of Akron, close to Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Much better environment, but comes at the cost of stuck-up cunts that have the typical I would like to see your manager haircut and drive Acura because they can't afford Mercedes. Sorry about the rant. I fucking hate Akron. Needs to be a patch. When you say cunts, because if Marshall was saying, like, if in England they say cunts, that's like a dude or just a fucking asshole. You say cunts, I think you mean a fucking cunt with a vagina.
A vagina. But hey, man, good on you getting out of that.
Yeah, fucking 100%, man.
Good on you breaking out of that cycle. I mean, we're in for I actually think we're probably in for a dramatic social change in this country before we're ever going to see the fucking AI revolution. The left and the right is getting further and further apart, and the same thing with that gap in the middle. There used to be that kind of center of the road Republican, kind of center of the road Democrat, and those were the people that got things done, and they don't exist anymore. So it's only a matter of time before that powder cake, before one side does something that the other can't tolerate, and we're going to be in for a big social change.
For the love of God, I cannot find what 503 means. I have scoured the internet, your channel, even Googled it. I feel like a jackass wearing the shirt and not knowing what it means. Kind of like wearing a flaming rainbow shirt that says I love big bears and not knowing what it's a homo thing. That I can you give me a clue as to where to find it? We can't, but I will tell you, every shirt we put out has 503 in it. You just don't realize it. It's in every single shirt we put out has 503. You guys just keep guessing, keep posting comments. Even if if 20 of you hit it on the head, we're not gonna fucking tell you. What if it's just some bullshit we made up? Hey, John and Skully, you guys always talk about investing in property and got the bug stuck in my head. I started looking at land and homes in the country within a half hour of my work, and quickly realized that despite my decent paying union jobs as a fab refrigeration team leader, I can't afford hardly any of them on a single income. East Central Wisconsin may not be as expensive as California, but a house in the country with any amount of land is usually over $250,000. You're looking in the wrong fucking country.
Yeah, you're looking in the wrong place. And if you're really a what was that?
Fab refrigeration fab team guy.
Man, there's so much work for you down here.
Yeah, and
you could be running your own shop, not your own crew. I mean,
and we're not talking necessarily house. Buy some fucking dirt, man. Improve it. Fucking put a shipping container there. Put a fucking shed there. Put a travel trailer. Whatever you need to do, man. Just fucking and it doesn't have to be there. And really, if you can't afford land, like we're talking about, if you can't afford that and that's what you want, fucking make a plan, man. Get the fuck out of there.
Start saving.
After you factor in the insane property tax, the mortgage is more than I even take home in a month. Yeah, you're looking at the wrong shit, or you're in the wrong place. Probably both. I lost all hope till I started looking at land in the up Michigan's Upper Peninsula. What 30 acres will cost you here, you can get 300 acres up there. Hell, there are some 40-acre parcels that I could damn near buy cash money right now. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
I found 80 acres that I like and can afford, and started fantasizing about slowly building my dream cabin on the weekends over several years. The problem is that it's 4 hours away, not a doable commute for work, and there's no power up there. Everyone depends on generators, propane, and wood. But I still kind of want to do it. You won't ever go there, dude. Like, that's the if it's more than a couple hours away, you won't ever go there. It'll become too easy not to go on the weekends. You'll have something else to do. You'll end up there once or twice a year. And if you actually put anything there, when you go back, it won't be there, man. People will have vandalized it, stole it. You build something, somebody's going to be living in it. You have to get something closer, or you need to go there. Buy that property, start developing that property, have a plan to leave and go there and do something there that can fucking, make income, something you can do, mail order, whatever you have to do. But I still kind of want to do it. I started asking my parents and friends what they thought of the idea. They pretty much said it's stupid and that I should buy something closer to work before I start looking northward. The only place I can afford down here are cookie cutter shitholes in town that don't even have a driveway and would still... See, you're in the wrong place, man. You can't afford to live where you're living. Take your fucking skills and your ability... Come here.
Just go somewhere where your skills and abilities will be more valuable and where the land is cheaper. That's all. There's tons of places all over the country like that.
Yeah, here it comes. I got to get out of my mom's house in the next couple of years. But like a lot of millennials, I just can't see being able to afford property around here, but don't want to waste money on renting. Sorry for the long comment, but John, you've motivated me back in the day with the How to Afford Nice Things video, and I would appreciate any advice you guys would have. The only advice we have is you need to leave where you're at. Like, you need to go. Take your skills and your ability and go fucking someplace where there's land you can afford and do that job. Like, you could come live here and work in Dixon, which is 45 minutes. You could come live here and work in Nashville, which is an hour and 15 minutes. You could come live here and work in Jackson, which is 45 minutes. That's just here. I'm sure there's hundreds of places like here. You're just in the wrong fucking place. Like, in San Diego, I wouldn't own shit. Like, I wouldn't have shit in San Diego. I'd have a nice apartment where I'm paying somebody else's fucking corporate mortgage on their fucking apartment complex. We wouldn't have shit in San Diego. We had to go somewhere else to do what we're doing, to even be able to do a fucking quarter of what we want to do. Even the ideas of being able to do shit. It was illegal to even think about doing half the shit we do in San Diego.
You're also, it sounds like, that you're young. You got your whole life ahead of you. Go on a fucking adventure.
Jump, man.
Go jump. Just get in your truck, drive it down here to Nashville, and see what kind of job offers you can get in Nashville. It's one of the biggest growing cities in the United States.
600 families a week moving
so
here.
There's plenty of
and you don't have to live in Nashville.
There's plenty of jobs for your type of skill set. Go on an adventure, man. Just see what's out there in the world. Don't get stuck in your hometown because that's where you've been stuck your whole life.
You don't need satellites for GPS to work. All it is triangulation from ground-based towers. If satellites were real, then in all of NSA live feeds or so-called pictures of Earth from space, why don't we see at least one of the 60,000 plus satellites supposedly orbiting Earth? Try to find a picture of the video from space with all those satellites. You don't even find a picture of Earth from space. It's all overlaid imaging. The moon, and then somebody else, same guy. The moon puts off its own light. You can measure it with a laser thermometer. The temperature in the shade of the moon light is warmer than direct moonlight. Sun is hot, moon is cold. Just look at a yin-yang symbol.
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know.
Of course the moon is cold. It's reflecting light. It's not creating its own light. That's why there's a dark side of the moon.
Received my package from y'all today. Thanks for the quality product. Right on. Here's another one. Some good info about vaccines from a doctor everybody should watch. All right. What up, guys? Just got my OD Green Compact Tear Off Med Pouch today, and it's awesome. I already have it stocked and on my plate carrier. Some of the pod Love the podcast, blah, 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 like all the others said, laugh out loud. Don't know shit about bikes or razors, but have you guys ever thought of or made some type of helmet bag or cover for motocross or anything of that type? Yes, I have helmet bags I've made for helmets. We've never brought one to market. You guys can't stop the podcast at 100. I'm finally one of the cool people at work that knows some things. They also have motivated me to do more real shit with myself as well as other people by leading by example. Keep up awesome shit, guys. You're the best. Thanks, Brian.
You keep it up. Keep moving forward. Keep setting that example.
100%. And if you want the podcast to continue, you guys got to comment, because yesterday there was 35 fucking comments on the podcast. Speaking of how important it is to wear a helmet on quads and bikes, a buddy and his best friend were out riding quads one weekend. His friend's bike broke down, so they loaded it on a trailer. As they were riding back in the trailer, slow trail speed, they hit a dip and his buddy fell out backwards off the trailer. He hit the back of his head on a rock and it killed him instantly.
Man, that's tough.
Complacency kills all the time. It's not always the hardcore jumps that kill you. A guy died a couple years ago at a local motorcycle rally. He was just letting his clutch out and his front tire stuck in trolley tracks. He basically just fell over and hit his head on the curb and it killed him. Yep. Have you guys played
Motorcycles are dangerous.
Have you guys played any video games? Fuck no. I
haven't played a video game in
PS2. I don't know. Some PlayStation was out. We went to Sears and bought it. Took it home. It was 2 p.m. I was going to play it for a couple hours. I turned it on and played it for a couple hours, and when I looked out the window, it was dark. It was still 2 o'clock in the morning. So for 12 hours I sat there. That's the last time I turned on a fucking video game.
That's usually what happens with those things too.
And that was like before the Oceanside shop, so that was pre 2000. No, a video game is nothing but fucking wasting your time. Show me a dude who's got a business going, who has anything going on in his life. I know. You're so successful that you can sit and play video games. I know. And there's tons of fucking retards that are going to come on here and tell us how there's professional gamers. What you won't find is a dude on our podcast, a dude that watches our podcast who's getting paid to play video games. We all know dudes. I used to get paid to play video games. Why aren't you doing it then, motherfucker?
Yeah,
why are you unemployed right now? Why don't you go back to being a professional gamer? Have you guys played... Oh, that's the video. No, we haven't. John and Skully, what's the biggest challenge you are facing currently? My biggest challenge is just having labor. That's really people, human factor. That's it. I don't know. What is my biggest?
That's it. For you, that would be the biggest challenge, is keeping asses in the seats. My biggest personal challenge is how long will my knees keep going? How long until I'll have to be back in the surgery chair, and hopefully the bionic kneecaps will be ready by then. That's my biggest challenge. I think
that they'll just come out with one. We'll open a Pelican case, and it'll have your kneecap in it, and we'll just set it there, and it'll go...
Probably. Nanotechnology. I'll probably just swallow a pill. And
you'll become a transformer.
They'll go all the way down to my kneecaps, and then your knees will be fine.
You'll be RoboCop.
My mom just broke her fucking back.
When?
Monday.
How?
Moving a bed. So my mom is a little bit old.
Did she fall downstairs?
Nope, just moving a bed. My mom's a little bit older, but she's fiercely independent. She's basically been doing it herself for...
I thought
forever.
She was living here.
She doesn't want to. She's been doing it herself forever. She likes kind of that independence. And she was moving to bed. She broke her back. She literally really broke her back. Went to the doctor's office.
Oh, your back's broken too.
And they're like, here, look, this is where you broke your back. That's really wonderful. And she's like, holy shit. And they're like, it'll take 6 months. It'll take 6 months. So they give her back, a thing to hold her up. So she's like Dr. Frankenstein and shit. And they're like, it'll take 6 months for that to work. For that to heal up to where you're going to be, 80%. Because she's old, so when you get to that age, you don't really heal perfectly ever.
So she tripped?
No, she was just pushing the bed and her back went.
Right. I'm expecting the other shoe to drop.
No, So they're like 6 months for that to heal up. Or you can come in here and we can do some tests on you, and then I have this new stuff that we just inject in your back, and you will walk out of here that afternoon.
Like the gel space.
Yeah, so she went and got checked out, and they're like, "You're good to go. You're gonna come in here." She's getting it today, actually. They're like, "You'll walk right. You won't." They're like, "You won't walk out of the hospital because we can't let you walk out of the hospital." But then once you get out of the hospital, you will be able to get up and walk.
This wheelchair and walk.
So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a future technology that's just going to be like, you don't even have to go to the doctor. Just take this pill.
If DEF gets contaminated, it's expensive to fix. I had dudes saying you can just bypass it. You just like an EGR delete, you just fucking delete.
I'm sure that there's some shade tree mechanics out there that like
real fucking diesel shops just take that shit off.
But out here, I don't think it would be a big deal. But you know, like if you live in California, you can't even, you know, in California you can't even modify. You have to get inspected now. So all diesel trucks have to get inspected in California, and you cannot anything that is modified from standard equipment. Even if it makes the vehicle more efficient,
it won't pass the visual.
It doesn't pass the visual.
John, what is your favorite food tree or plant you have put on the property? Everything we've put on the property, other than these most recent ones, everything's up till a couple weeks ago has all produced food of some sort. We've got peaches. Best peaches I've ever eaten have come off trees on the property. We've got apples. I haven't actually eaten. I mean, we've pulled a couple like that just weren't ripe. But the apples always crash before they're ready to pick. Like something happens to them. I need to spray them for rust or whatever the fuck it is. Cherry trees. Best cherry I've ever had has come off tree on the property here. Peaches, nectarines, figs. We've got 2 fig trees. The cold kills them every year. And I'm like, oh, these are dead. I can just fucking plant something else here. And then right about the time I'm ready to just mow over it, you see a little.
They're big now.
Yeah, they're big
out there.
We were fucking with them today. They're taller than me this year. They've got leaves all over them. The figs, fucking, we'll have 1,000 fucking figs off these 2 plants this year. We got goji berries. We've got all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I'm not a big fruit guy. I mean, I love fruit, but it's all sugar. It's very recently that I've started eating fruit again. I don't know. I like all of it, or I wouldn't have it on the property, really. I need to really plant like some fucking walnuts and pecans and shit, because they take a while to mature. But that's really what we should be putting on the property. DeWalt versus Milwaukee is Ford versus Chevy. By the I'm Milwaukee Porvita. DeWalt is yellow because it's scared. Hands down, Metabo is the greatest grinder corded ever built. Laugh out loud. DeWalt is also the cheaper loss for large companies, but they all order both on big jobs. Grinders hands fucking down is Metabo. Everything else is junk. Okay, I guess.
I use the DeWalt every fucking day.
I guess he probably has a Metabo tattoo.
Every day I use the DeWalt.
I've never even heard of Metabo.
I don't think I've ever. The only thing I can ever say bad about him is I've got like 4 18-volt batteries that are.
Skully,
what's up?
Fuck the tank.
What?
Elon will help with an A10 tree planter. Cali folks will dive on it. That's Elon's control group. Seed pods are available now, John, on the low through the Forestry Service online, or you can buy through treehuggers.org. I wonder if that's real, treehugger.org. I'll forward next one that emails me. I clicked it once. They hammer me with it. I don't even own dirt. Laugh out loud. Thanks, SOE and crew, for pulling the thread. I hope this never ends.
I'd love to have an A10 or I'd rather have the tank, really. I don't know how to fly. I can drive a tank.
Yeah, we could use a tank like every day.
Yeah, I could use a tank. I could, get that thing on the front and look for landmines around the property and shit.
Milwaukee is the real contractor's tool, Scott Taylor said.
Everybody loves Milwaukee.
Great. Well,
nobody owns it. Everybody loves it, but nobody owns it.
Great podcast as usual. I really hope you keep going after 100. Keep up the great work and awesome gear. Made in the motherfucking USA. Laugh my ass off. That was for you, John. I know how much you hate it when people won't type it out. Keep it coming. China just officially banned the production of synthetic heroin in their country. Who knows if they will actually enforce it? People have been overdosing on that stuff for all these years here in the States. It just shows how the government does not care or is willing to protect the public. Or is willing to protect the public. Why would they force them to do it? Why wouldn't they force them to do it years ago with all the money they make off of us? Well, because the United States is overpopulated, and for the elite, there are too many of you. They actually call you feeders. Just look up Agenda 21, man. Fucking go back and look up Agenda 21. Had a dream about you two last night.
Oh.
Saying, kicks, get off your fucking ass and do better. I woke up ready to slay the day. Thanks for everything, SWE.
Did you slay the day, though? Did you do it? Or did you kind of throw your feet over the side of the bed and be like, oh, man, that was just a crazy dream? And then went back to playing video games?
I was up at 4:30 this morning.
You're a weirdo.
I was on the way to the gym. I made a video this morning in the fucking pitch black. I was at the gym before 6 o'clock. Did legs. Fucking killed legs. I'm wobbly right now. And then came and did 30 minutes of cardio right before breakfast. Stair stepper, 15 minutes. That's what fucked me up. Had a dream. Skully and John. We stopped going to the moon because we found out that it was not made of cheese. End of story.
We actually stopped going to the moon because President Nixon wanted to step up the bombing in Laos. And when you're spending that kind of money, you got a one point or the other. And when you've already been there 6 times and ran the doom buggy around, what else are you gonna do? You might as well bomb Asian people. It's much more cost effective.
Nobody has ever gone to the moon. It's just a light in the sky. It's not something you can land on.
Like
you should look up Flat Earth. Some say that it's actually a projection.
A pinhole? It's just a pinhole in the sky. It's a lot of pinholes. You need to turn. What you really need to do is go somewhere where there's no external lighting. So get your ass up to the mountains and then take a look at the universe, and then you'll really feel how insignificant you are.
Hi all, on the bunker talk. How people know when to get out. I only ask since people in Hawaii got on their bunkers when they got the fake warning, and relatives had to travel to the island to get them out months later. There are rumors that some people are still in their bunkers. The fuck is he talking about? The missile thing?
Yeah, when they had the fake missile attack. Here's the thing, my friends. If you live in Hawaii, and you get a missile warning, there's no sense in going down to your bunker. The missiles that we are using now, the missiles that the Russians are using now, and the same ones that we are firing at the Russians, that will do you no good. That island will not exist. If the Russians hit that island with one of their warheads, that island will not exist. So you might as well just cruise out to the beach, kick your shoes off, roll your toes in the water one last time, because going into a bunker or going into some fucking stupid ass parking garage that's got a fallout thing on there, it ain't going to do you a bit of good. That fucking island will cease to exist.
Plus, it would set off volcanoes and shit.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll do that, but there's not going to be, nobody's going to be going, oh man, look, I made it out of my survival shelter. The island's not going to exist anymore.
You can absolutely watch satellites go across the sky in the ocean or in the absence of man-made light. No, Cody, you can only see the projection on the fucking big screen above you.
It's like, what's that place you used to go? It's like the planetarium. This is all just one big planetarium. They just project that above you. That's what the flat Earth stuff says. You just project it so you're...
How do you know it's a satellite? Because NASA told you.
No, you can actually see the blinking lights.
And then...
and the little guys inside of them.
He says, primarily because I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. I've also seen that there aren't expandable NASA... That aren't expandable NASA has never directly told me anything. John, if you had a skid steer, or bobcat, whatever you call it, We used to take the bucket and place above tractors' front weights to reverse the auger bit, especially in heavy rock, like I think you said. Also, the Mad Max car. Well, the tractor doesn't have enough. When we put it in reverse, it won't fucking unauger itself. It's not just about the weight of the front end. It won't spin backwards. There's not enough power to the PTO to go in backwards like that. Also, the Mad Max car, I was talking solenoids and point type parts. Thanks all the crew for pulling the thread.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Small parts coming from Australia and shit. I've actually purchased parts for the car from Australia, but once you identify the crazy ass part that the Australians used, then you can find it here. Like the brake drums on the back of the Interceptor are from a fucking 1967 Plymouth. The point is from a 73 fucking Mercedes Benz. So it's just you just have the problem with the United States. Is the United States is relying on technology now, so they can put some kid in front of a computer and he can just type in some shit instead of having the old guys there that will actually look in the books. Once you find a guy that'll look in the books and be like, "Oh, I know where these came from," then you can find the parts here in the United States. I really don't need anything from.
But in another 10 years, those guys will all be dead.
Yeah, they'll all be dead. But we will all be dead in 10 years. AOC says so.
AOC says so?
Yeah, she says we'll be dead in 10 years.
Why?
Because we're not doing anything about climate change.
Because the polar bears are going to eat us?
Polar bears are going to eat us.
Primarily because I've seen it. Skits here. Question for Skully. What does your ideal weapons cache look like for just in case? Like a standard footlocker-sized trunk you could hide somewhere.
No. Have you seen...
No, he's asking what... If you had... That's how much... If you had a...
No, I get what you're saying, but if you've seen, I can't think of which Terminator it is. I want to say it's the second one where Sarah Connor takes him out into the desert, and Arnold pulls that chain, and that fucking opens up. That would be my ideal cache. That would be my ideal site. I couldn't just put a couple. It's not like the fuck was that movie? It's not like Uncommon Valor. It's not like Uncommon Valor where I only have enough money for a footlocker that's full of guns from World War II. I need the whole gambit. I need...
Oh, is that when they flew in and had to buy arms or something?
Because all their weapons got confiscated? I need the full gamut, my friends.
Steve, look up Dr. Lauren Lockham on long-term therapeutic fasting. It has been shown that your body will focus on eating up either cancerous or degenerative tissue. Just something to look at. Hope this helps. Cancer's a bitch, but stay positive.
Definitely stay positive.
I didn't even see anybody mention cancer.
It was in the last one. Stay positive. Fight it.
Skully, of course people can seriously think we didn't go to the moon or the earth is flat or a mountain or other bullshit. Here's the proof. There are people in this country that voted for AOC.
That is true. But here's the thing that most people... Here's the thing that most people don't understand is they really didn't elect AOC. It was a failing of the Democratic Party. Like I said, the guy who was responsible for that district, he didn't show up. He didn't campaign. And she only got, now this is New York City, she only got 1,700 votes. That's it. That's all it took for her to take that seat. If she keeps going down crazy town, if the Democrats don't reel her in, it's just my opinion that she doesn't get reelected.
I figured he was a troll, but that shit really bothered me. I never talked to anyone who believes in crazy of a conspiracy. Ian, I don't know who we're fucking talking
I think that's all that moon stuff.
You can delete the DEF fluid. It's a separate tank and requires partial new exhaust if you take it off. That and new tune can get you free of it. With Super Duties at least. In my opinion, I would count GMFA Marines as Naval Air Forces. They deploy with carrier air groups.
Naval Air Forces? They don't... Yeah, but they're still Marines.
What's VMFA?
That's their...
The federal government can and will violate the Constitution because people will let it fucking happen. States yes, are passing laws in defiance of the Fed, but ultimately the state will not protect you. Fuck no, it won't. We went to the fucking moon. Jesus Christ. The people saying otherwise likely also say the earth is flat and say they live in a dome. Yeah, it all goes hand in hand.
A dome. We live in a dome.
In New Jersey, with only my phone in possibly the worst U.S. Air Force lodging I have witnessed, fucking every Navy gateways are shitting all over this place. That's a statement.
Come on, man. There are no bad Air Force facilities. I don't believe you. You've obviously never been to a military facility outside of an Air Force one, because there are no bad Air Force. They got maids that come in and clean their rooms and shit.
Be prepared for anything. Place your confidence in yourself and make sure it is not false confidence. Test your ability and then practice those skills. Definitely excited to see what the new Gear SOE brings to the Toyota Overland market. I use your bags in my 4Runner for overlanding and my Subaru for rallycross. I'm fucking waiting on a 4Runner.
Yeah, we're waiting on a 4Runner. It's sitting somewhere with my tractor.
I wasn't disputing that the feds won't arrest you because a state says something is okay and the feds say it isn't. I was only stating that what they are doing is illegal, but I know they will still do it. Yeah, of course. That's fucking everything they do. I was only saying it's shitty. The feds are overreaching. Trust me, I know not to fuck with the feds. I've been close to that road. Like I said, I was just staring the fact out. The government is overstating them things. I agree 100% with what you say about the feds. The IRS, on the other hand, charges people with tax evasion using the IRS code 861, and you're right, it says nothing about citizens in the 60 states having to pay income tax. It does refer to Guam and another island, I can't think of the name right now, getting taxed every way possible. Like the federal law, over time, they changed what it meant in their own minds. Thanks for the videos. 99.9% of the time I agree with both of you. So don't ever think I'm just stirring shit up, because I'm not. Only engaging in a tough conversation due to it being through comments and 4 or 5 days in between comments. When you reply, then my reply. Keep this up. I hope you don't really quit at 100 videos. This shit is therapy for a lot of us. My wife, Liberty Chick, and
she's on here all the time.
Went to see the Democratic senator from our state of Ohio today. I wish I had filmed it. It was a fucking comedy show.
Yeah, I get what you're, I actually got where you were going with all that. And the issue is just, we are so screwed up when it comes to the laws within the United States as far as interpretation of the Constitution through the fucking Supreme Court. They're not supposed to interpret it, they're just supposed to execute it. Meaning, the only thing the Supreme Court is supposed to say when it comes to any of this shit is it constitutional or is it not constitutional? That's it. There shouldn't be no opinions, there should be no, because it's all in the Constitution. They should just be like, sorry, that's not constitutional, or sorry, that's all they should really be doing. But we've given all these people power. It's just like right now, you have all these federal judges in California that are ruling on Donald Trump's executive orders as far as the border goes. That's an overreach. They don't have that power. He is the President of the United States is the sole provider of that institution. So the courts don't have a power to fucking tell the president he can do anything he wants. Even Obama ignored federal judge rulings when it came to enforcement on the border. So it's just, we've given these people too much power, and when you give people power like that, they continue to think that they have absolute power, and they're going to push it as far as they can go.
Fact: the golf club used on the moon was made in Oak Ridge at Y12. It was supposed to be a sample collection device. That's a motherfucking fact, Jack. So you mean they didn't have a real golf club up there?
I'll bet he had a real.
Makita makes phenomenal battery-powered tools in my experience. I've had my 14.4 drill for over 8 years. It's been dropped multiple times and ran over once, and it still works. No bullshit. I love a good conspiracy as much as the next guy, but I'm agnostic with everything. You tell me that ice is cold, and I won't believe it until there's proof. That being said, here's a conspiracy for you. Everyone who is arguing on either side of the conspiracy gets their info from the internet and the entertainment industry. I'd agree with that. The government actively and inactively allows everything that's on the internet. I would agree with that too. They don't give you permission to post that Facebook post, but tomorrow they don't give you permission to post that Facebook. Tomorrow they may decide they don't want it there, and at the very least take it down. Everyone talking about the Van Allen radiation belt and wrong shadow on the moon rocks got their info because the government allowed it. Pro and con, so maybe no one is right at all, and all of the bullshit is just a distraction put out by the government.
Here's the interesting fact. Let me see. What's his name? Austin?
Yeah, it's Austin.
Here's an interesting fact, Austin. I don't get that information from the internet.
Where'd you get it?
You know why? Because I was born before the internet existed. The information about the moon landing all came prior to...
Right, but somebody controlled media prior
to the internet. So I didn't get any of that information from the internet. The other thing too is you're absolutely right about the government. You're absolutely right about the government and how they run things. As far as sounds like a motorcycle. Nah, not a motorcycle.
It drove one past.
Yeah. Here's the other thing that you might be aware of or not. In the 50s, when people started talking about UFOs, the government, the United States Air Force, was actually sending people out to ensure that you believed in UFOs. They were actually producing information out in the area, classified information, in order to get people to believe in UFOs because of the type of aircrafts that they were testing at the time. They used to do test flights over Los Angeles. So they would fly experimental aircraft over Los Angeles at certain altitudes, and then they would go to the news outlets and be like, hey, did you guys see anything crazy out there? And then the news outlet would be like, yeah, we saw this fucking thing. You know, because at this period of time, we were transitioning from propeller planes to jets. And they're like, yeah, we saw this fucking thing zip through here at some crazy speed. And they'd be like, okay. And they would go back and they would tell the guys at Skunk Works, and Skunk Works would be like, all right, we're going to have to fly at 25,000 feet. And they would do it again. They would do it again until they got to the altitude where people actually weren't seeing or hearing these aircraft. But yeah, the government puts out misinformation all the time. It's even worse now, and I've said this several times. You can look it up. President Obama actually got rid of the law that said you can't use propaganda against the United States citizens, and that is why you see Fox News and MSNBC spreading these really conspiracies, because they now can use propaganda against U.S. citizens. So even when they're caught in something that's a fucking total fabrication, they'll just double down on it and keep going, because they don't have to tell the truth anymore. Don't watch the fucking mainstream news.
Just got my mystery order from International Women's Day and Mardi Gras, along with a new Cobra belt. My EDC worked great. Just wanted to try this out for appendix and like it a little bit more. Just checked out my new order. Is on its way with Rallyman, wallet, and some shirts, along with baby onesie.
Baby onesie.
I actually shipped that last night. I want to say I shipped that. Looking forward to having some t-shirts to rock with SOE logo on it. Keep forgetting to order the SOE flag patches, but just another reason to order again. John, what is... Who the fuck is out there on a four-wheeler? I thought Cody left.
Cody's gone. Maybe Chef?
Maybe. Keep forgetting to order SOE flag patch. John, what is the one car you wish you had not sold? Skully, was there ever a time you did not buy a gun that you wish you had? I've never sold a car. Have I?
I don't know. Have you?
I don't think I've ever sold a car.
The only car I wish I'd never got rid of was my Datsun B210. the one gun that I wish I would have bought was the Arctic Warfare rifle that my good friend still has in his closet, buried under some shoes with some socks on top. He probably doesn't even know what's in there anymore. I really wish I would have figured out how to get that, to buy that rifle. That's the only one.
How about gun? Oh, you did the gun. I got a good question for you guys. John, would it be better to put my money into a bank, into a savings account, or store money inside a money bag and keep it at home? Of course, putting my money into a bank makes it secure, but the money really isn't yours, and keeping money in your house runs the risk of being broken into and stolen. You're right on both of those. Why not keep some both places?
Yeah, why not keep some both places, or transition your money into something that's actually real, like gold, silver, ammunition, booze.
I think there's a place for that, but I mean, if you needed to go liquid with it, you couldn't liquefy any of those things quickly.
Put it in the bank. I mean, yeah, it's a secure place. Anything up to $250,000, it's well, unless in theory it's guaranteed.
Unless it's an agency looking for you, then they just turn your shit off.
Yeah, it's guaranteed.
If you're on the run, you're not going to access that money.
I mean, I could go either way with it. Stuffing it in your mattress, it's not really doing anything for you. And here's the thing this is the way I would look at it. If you have cash money, put it in the bank. Don't stuff it in your mattress. Because if something happens where you're like, if something crazy happens, the cash money in your mattress isn't going to do you any good versus the cash money in your bank. Like, look at the pictures of Venezuela right now. The gutters are lined. The gutters are literally lined with their fucking money. They're using it as confetti. They can't buy anything with it. So, if there's a run on the banks, your money's not going to be worth anything anyways. Even the money stuffed in your mattress. The only good reason why you stuff money in your mattress is so when you die, your kids find that in the mattress. But you better hope they don't throw it away.
Or if you're doing cash business.
Or cash, if you got a solid cash business,
have to report it for taxes.
I'm just saying, at least if you put it in the bank, you're going to get 0.00000% on it.
Got my wife that purple day pack. She loves it. It's going to be her carry-on bag.
Awesome.
To go along with my Marpat day pack carry-on. Rock in the airport. Right on. We had an entire Ford fleet at Halliburton as far as pickups. DEF lasts a long time and is on the pumps at most truck stops. If not, they will have jugs of it inside. There is a gauge and an AC and an electronic gauge for DEF level. I was doing 500 miles a day minimum most days, running oil field shit no problem. Also, having a jug like you have a spare oil or coolant is no problem. Edit. I'd get about 4,000 or 5,000 miles out of a tank, like 6 gallons.
Yeah, I think Dwayne was saying that every time he got his oil change, he had to put
5,000 miles.
He had to
but
put
on a
whatever.
diesel, don't you change the oil on a diesel like 10,000 miles?
It just depends on
the truck.
Depends on what you want to do.
All right, that's it.
That's it. Oh my God, it's over.
I'm gonna go eat again.
What are you gonna have? A burger?
Whatever chef left me. I'm gonna go find out who's ripping around on the four-wheel.
Ripping around on the four-wheel. It's probably Gabby.
Probably. Gabby Rex.
See you guys tomorrow. Later.